talk about Chapter 64. Let's talk about food. Question 1. Do you cook? If yes, what food do you cook the most? These days I like to cook chicken curry. The reason I cook chicken curry is it is high in protein and it is a quite cheap meal. So that's been my go-to meal. It's also very quick to make, so having some meal that is cheap, quick to make, and then high in protein is the perfect meal for me right now. So chicken curry is my choice. Question 2. How often do you eat with your family? Since I'm in Korea right now, I don't eat with my family at all. However, when I was in the States, I would go to my parents' house 2 or 3 nights a week and we would have some dinner together. But these days in Korea, I try to meet and have some dinner with my friends to replicate that feeling of having my family. Question 3. Do you like to have breakfast every morning? Why or why not? For me, breakfast is essential. The reason I say this is I often work out in the morning and I like to have some food in my stomach before I work out, so I always have to have some breakfast. Usually I will have maybe 3 or 4 eggs and some toast. I think it's a quick and cheap breakfast, so it's good to have as a student. Question 4. Do you like to eat some desserts after meals? I like to eat desserts after I have some dinner. I think I eat more desserts in Korea than I did in the United States. The reason I say this is because after dinner, it's quite common that my friends want to go to some cafe and have some coffee or cake and just talk, catch up on life. But in the United States, we don't really have many cafes, so it's not often that we would ever go to some cafe and have some dessert. Question 5. Do you like to try new food and drinks? I'm always open to trying to eat some new foods, even if the name of the food or the visual appearance is not very appealing to me. I can talk from experience when saying the first time I had chicken feet in Korea. The name was so crazy, but I tried it, and I didn't like the food much, but I'm happy that I'm always willing to try some new foods. Question 6. Are you concerned about your daily calorie intake when choosing something to eat? In the past, when I was dieting, I often would count my calories and I was very strict on making sure I was understanding the amount of food I was having. However, these days, I still work out regularly, but I'm a bit more lenient on myself when it comes to counting calories. So I don't want to stress out about calories, so I try to not count them much, but it's important to at least understand the food that you're eating. Question 7. Are there any foods that you wouldn't eat as a child that you eat now? When I was a child, I wasn't a big fan of most vegetables or condiments, like mustard or mayonnaise or even ketchup. So these days I'm okay to eat any of those, as well as vegetables. I was not a big fan of them when I was young, but I really love to eat vegetables these days, so I think my taste buds have changed as I've grown older. Question 8. Is there any food that you really dislike eating? The only food that I don't like to eat are mushrooms. I don't know why, but my entire life I've just never liked the taste or the texture of mushrooms. It's okay if it's in some meal, but I don't like to just have mushrooms alone. Question 9. If you are living abroad, what is the food that you miss the most from home? The food I miss the most is my mom's home-style American breakfast. I was living at home with my parents before I came to Korea, and most mornings my mom and I would wake up together and we would have some breakfast. So it was always a nice time to talk with her, but also enjoy some really delicious foods that I always looked forward to eating. Question 10. Do you read the nutritional information on the foods you buy? I always read the nutritional information on the food that I buy. This started when I was in university and I first learned how to start dieting. I learned the amount of, protein, fat, and carbs that I should have in my diet, as well as the other individual ingredients and vitamins. So since then, I've always, naturally, I pick up some item and I always will read the label